So I want to show you how you can get extra value out of your backups. The humble backup of a sign-in or audit log out of Veeam Backup for Entra ID. Does that sound good? Let's take a look. So what I've done is extracted out all of the logs from each backup. I've been having this Entra ID backup for a few months now, extracted them all out, and I've had to normalize them and put them into a database table. And you can see now under our Metabase dashboard here, this could obviously be visualized anywhere, I have a baseline training state. So each of these users has a specific machine learning model that's been trained on what their baseline looks like, what their normal looks like, things like what devices are they logging in from, what day of the weeks are they logging in from, and even from where in the world, what city, etc. The logs are rich in information, so we can start creating this model of what's normal for that user. Additionally, we can start looking what's normal globally, for our tenant. What days of the week are we logging in? Things like, here's a nice distribution of day of the week logins for this particular demo tenant that I've got. Hour of the day. So we can start looking at these, and then when we see massive fluctuations either way, this could be an anomaly. So once we've trained the models off this, we can start detecting anomalies. So here's some at the top here. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see that I've created some anomalous sign-in logs from a baseline profile here. So for example, this user has never logged in from England. They always log in from Ohio, and so this was an anomaly. Same thing for new IPs, an unusual day, a different hour. All of this is starting to come together really well. The severity on the left is actually determined by the program itself. So you as an organization within the script can actually determine, is a new IP actually a medium, or is it a low, or is it something that you just aren't going to track because your users are always moving between IP addresses. So that's largely how it works. And if we go a bit deeper into the surface, sort of behind the scenes, so to speak, this is what's powering it all. So the Veeam logs have actually been normalized, so you can see this is the sort of information that we've got at our disposal that we can start training these baseline models on. So each of these are sign-in logs. I've got 2,800 of them here. You can see things like it was a browser, it was from this IP address. We've got a bunch of information about the location, what client device it was, etc. So we can start building up that baseline. And then the baseline training script itself will actually create a baseline, and this is kind of what it looks like. So you can see this particular user here has a distribution of 36% of the time they're using Outlook Web. And there's obviously a number of other options in here. When it comes to location, you can see it's always US Ohio, and then there's various different cities or kind of regions within Ohio I'm not super familiar with myself. So you can see why when we start getting a new sign-in that looks like that previous screen, we can compare it not necessarily against the data that you're seeing here, but actually with this baseline model here. And so I've put a blog together on how all of this works. You saw that in the start there. So if we go here, you can read a little bit how the detection mechanism works. So benyoung.blog. Scroll down and there's a bit of information about how it works, what the logs look like before and after, the dashboard, which you've just seen, kind of how we're doing the machine learning model and how it's trying to detect outliers with kind of dividing up these data sets, etc. It doesn't go super in depth, it just sort of gives a general overview of how that works, and then it goes into a lot more information about the examples that I've just shown you. There it is, anomaly detection using Veeam Backup for Entra ID log files. So a humble log file turned into something super valuable.